you could ask the Lord for two things, what would they be? Just two. Think about that for a second. Hello there, this is Pastor Pete Pawelek. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of the Daily Devo. Don't forget, you can find these Daily Devos and a ton of other resources. You can contact and connect with me over at pastorpete.org. Today I've been reflecting in Proverbs chapter 30, and I want to read to you a couple of verses starting in verse 7. And it starts like this: two things I ask of you. Two things, Lord, I'm asking of you. What would your two things be? I'm giving you a few seconds to think about that. Here's what the writer of Proverbs 30 said. Two things I ask of you. Don't deny them to me before I die. First thing, keep falsehood and deceitful words far from me. Second thing, give me neither poverty nor wealth. Feed me with the food I need. Otherwise, I might have too much and deny you, saying, "Who is the Lord?" Or I might have nothing and steal, profaning the name of my God. Two things I ask of you, Lord. Keep falsehood and deceitful words out of my mouth, and don't give me too much or too little. You know, I don't know if those are the two things you asked for or not, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say probably not. Reminds me of something I read long ago about a man by the name of Matthew Henry. He was robbed at one point in his ministry, at one point in his life, and he wrote this in his journal or his memoirs. I don't remember exactly where I read it, but it struck me and it always stuck with me. Matthew Henry wrote this. He said, "Let me be thankful first because he never robbed me before. Second, because although he took my purse, he did not take my life. Third, because although he took all I possessed, it wasn't very much. And fourth, because it was I who was robbed and not I who did the robbing." There right there is a man who is thankful for what he had, grateful for God's provision and God's protection, and okay with losing what he had because it wasn't very much. It reminds me of this proverb right here, just a humbleness about the heart of a person who says, "Lord, I'm not asking for the world. I'm not asking for wealth. I'm not asking that you give me extravagant things. I'm asking that you put me in a posture, in a position where I can honor you with my life, keep deceit and falsehood out of my life so my testimony can be pure, so I can be a usable vessel for you and for your glory. And second, Lord, don't give me too much and don't give me too little, because I know both of those things could be a trap for me. I know my heart well enough to know if you give me too much, I'll probably run away from you and I probably won't do the things you've called me to do. And if you don't give me enough, I know my heart well enough to know I might slip off into an area of sin and I might have to go out and steal and become the robber myself." Two things I ask. I want you to ask the Lord for two things today in your time of prayer. But before you ask Him for those two things, think about it. Go read Proverbs 30, 7 through 9 again. And then see what the Lord puts on your heart. And then ask Him for those two things. I pray the Lord blesses you today. Have a great one. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow for the Daily Devo. Come over and visit me at pastorpete.org.